originally looked like us, but now the history books and whitened them up, pale faced their skin, and got you looking at the wrong people as the enemy. There's a book called Black Conquistadors. Go get it, right? Matter of fact, anything you can find on the conquistadors, just know them was some Spanish niggas masquerading as us. Once they hit the land, they took off their Spanish regalia and dressed up like they from the tribes. They ain't us. They don't believe what we believe, and we got different beliefs across different clans. They try to group us all together like we all the same. We not all the same. Them niggas is not like us. Go ahead, Kendrick, tell them. They not like us. They might look like us. They might have the same nappy hair, the same brown skin, but them niggas is not us. And until y'all get that through y'all head and stop this hate campaign that they the ones started the white supremacy. The white supremacy doctrine is called Protocols of Zion. The white supremacy marching orders, or the rollout of it, is called Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike, right? And as long as y'all stuck on skin color, you stuck. You can't wake up from the slumber focused on the skin color when the worst devil is the one that looked like you, standing next to you with that big ass grin on his face, talking about kill Whitey. We gonna get some guns and kill all them crackers. That nigga is the white man. The white man don't got nothing to do with skin color, and it's all about the royal families of Europe usurping the royal families from the rest of the parts of the planet in order to dominate and subjugate us. So if y'all don't know what's going on, sit down, be quiet, and watch. But for the ones that know what's going on, they understand that this is the end of the devil's reign, and Rod Hayes, along with people like Malachi York, is sent here. They got to conjure me up. I don't just show up. They have to conjure me up to come out and do this work, right? I don't gotta like it. I don't gotta like being here. I don't gotta like participating. But I'm gonna tell you what, I ain't gonna lose. And then, as the saying go, I'm gonna win. I might not win immediately, but I guarantee you I'll win definitely, right? So all of the hates, if it gives you a sense of hate to another human being, that's part of the divide and conquer stratagems of these goddamn devils. I'm a tobacco chief. I smoke cigars, I smoke marijuana. I'm a marijuana tobacco chief. That's in our culture dating back before 1492. Everybody don't have the same tribal traditions, so all of us don't have the same protocols, right? I don't drink. I might have a beer every now and then, but I'm not a drinker. Anybody that been around me will tell you, well, I've tried to give him something to drink, but he ain't really. Alcohol ain't good for us. Alcohol ain't good for us. When I was a teenager, I was a teenage alcoholic, and I found out the hard way, alcohol ain't meant for us, right? So I know exactly what I'm doing according to the instructions from the elders that they left in the public domain, to follow the tribal's oral tradition, to reclaim everything from these damn devils, and to tell y'all who they is, where they at when I see them. So that's why you don't hear me just calling people out ad nauseum, because a lot of the people who believe, they use science now to justify hate. And that's when you know they didn't reach the pinnacle of application of divide and conquer techniques and tactics. When they can justify the divide and conquer using science, they really in on it. Well, I personally don't drink. I might have a beer occasionally with my brothers and whatnot, but I'm not a drinker. I don't go out on Friday night, get sloppy drunk, come home. That's not me. I don't go to parties where we go in with the intent to get sloppy drunk, because I'm going to be outside in the cold smoking my marijuana, smoking my cigars, and the rest of them, they don't have nothing to do with me. So if the Most High drink, because it do say in the ancient text that Anu was a drinker. He liked beer. He liked wine. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm earthborn, right? So as soon as we realize this, that we got different tribes. Every tribe got a tribal cultural tradition that they teach to the members of the tribe. This is why we have literature, right? We do not have, in the growth and development, we do not have as much literature as the Nubians have. The Nubians have a ton of literature exposing a whole lot of devilishment across the land. Yeah, I'd rather smoke than drink too. So, the tribe I'm from, we permitted to smoke and we permitted to smoke marijuana. But the Nubians is prohibited in their literature. And if you don't believe me, go get the Holy Tabernacle Family Guide, and that's the instructions for the living conditions of the family members of Nubians, right? And in there it say we don't drink, we don't smoke. And that's their culture. That's their tribal culture. This is why I keep telling y'all we wasn't all Moors, because the Moors have a specific culture that's all of us don't adhere to. We couldn't all be the same thing when we don't all adhere to the same culture. And this is why we were so divided when they came, because all of the chiefs couldn't come up with a common war strategy to stop them. So what they do, they challenged us to a conjure war. That was their worst mistake. Their worst mistake was to challenge the elders to a conjure war. This is your American Revolutionary Conjure, where they wrote the Constitution of Blood of Crispus Attucks and backdoored the deal to the U.S. Constitution. They came up with a secondary constitution that's put us in a stupor based on the blood. All this stuff is documented. I done went over it all 100 times. I done explained it ad nauseum. Right? And these black devils stay at it. They don't want Malachi out because they know soon as Malachi on the manifest, we gonna see some serious things. And he gonna be putting names in books. You know how he do. If you don't know what I'm talking about, get Ansar Cult rebuttal to the slander and you understand. Malachi gonna have names in books, dates, places, locations, photographs, charts, diagrams, explaining his whole situation to y'all with all of the dirty players, including some of the people that he's blood related to that don't want to see him free. Bullshit. I'm like Tupac. When I get free, motherfuckers better wash their ass. Soon as we touch down, gonna clock some cash. There's some time locked up, but I'm back on the streets. It's gonna be hell when they see me. So we don't all have the same cultural practice. Example, GD's vice lords and peace stones all have written literature. But when we go out west, the Crips don't have written literature. They got oral literature. They got what we call them now catchphrases, but they rules. They rules to live by. The same with the Bloods of Pyrus. They do their stuff different than we do in the Midwest because they a different tribal network that's operating in the West and the Southwest, right? Then you have the ones out of New York, like the Nation of Gods and Earths, and then you have like other unknown groups in New York that's been doing this stuff behind the scenes, and they are some of them. The Nation of Gods and Earths got literature. They got the supreme mathematics, supreme alphabet, and they tied back to the Nation of Islam through Clarence 13 Next connection to Elijah Muhammad. The Hebrews of Yahweh ben Yahweh had literature. So you could go back and you can study what they taught as they different tribes. And if you feel drawn to that tribe, it might be your tribe because they talk in your language in the literature. But we were none of us Christians, were none of us following Islam or Judaism until after 1492. Show me a masjid, church, or synagogue built in America before 1492 if we was any of that. And they can't find it. They finding castles all over the land because they said it wasn't no royalty because we left to go fight the Gullah Wars. We here now. This is where we at. We at the point of no return now. We done got so far into this liberation fight that it ain't no way out but victory. That's it. And anybody who got an issue with Tabitha Jet need to leave that sister alone. Let her do what she doing. Keep doing what you doing. If you get to see this video, Tabitha Jet, I don't got nothing to do with no fundraisers, and that shit pisses me off, right? And I don't support nobody that's using Malachi's name to enrich themselves, and he ain't getting none of it. That's where my biggest problem come in is if you do a fundraiser for Malachi, he should see some of that money. Even before the attorneys get some, at least 10% of it should go to his account. That's how I feel about it. I'm not doing no fundraisers because I don't trust these motherfuckers. I don't trust none of these attorneys because I know what they about. I know why they here, and I know what their job is. They all bankers. The attorneys are bankers too. They just got a different part of the bank. Go read the first charter in Savannah, Georgia, 1862 to 64 by King George. Read the charter. My brother man in Flint asked me one day, can you send me that charter? I need to read it. Yeah, I sent it to him. I didn't posted it on my page for people to read, but you know us, you want to hide something from us, put it in writing. Because now it ain't in a book, it's out in the open. And these people are still doing the same dumb shit. And I ain't with it. I don't appreciate nobody putting my name to something I don't have anything to do with. Yeah, so the Banker's Bible go into the intricacies of banking, right? They need that too. Yeah, the first charter of the Bar Association was in Savannah, Georgia by King George. I think it was King George the Third, but sometimes I pulled it up under King George the Second before, and I pulled it up under King George the Third and Fourth. So one of them King Georges, right? And if you don't know what you're looking for, everything that you've seen in the history coming into this situation is everything you've seen going out. King George in the modern era was George Herbert Walker Bush. He's been executed or put to sleep, whatever you want to call it. And he declared himself by Senate Select Committee as King George the First of the United States of America in 91. Go look it up. Matter of fact, you can find it in Behold the Pale Horse by William Cooper, where he talks about him making himself the king by Senate Select Committee, which makes his son become King George II. That's why he became the president, and Obama is his asset, and Clintons are his assets. If you don't know the political arena, you won't never know that. You won't never know Hillary began as a Republican, but the old man told her to marry Bill and become a Democrat because he needed to cover both sides of the aisle is what he told her. All this is recorded information. This ain't nothing that you can't go find yourself. I'm just telling y'all right now because I'm not finna go through pulling up all these receipts because you know how I do. I will do it if it was required. But since I done already put the receipts out there on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you can go look them up, right? The whole farmer situation where they sharecropped us, greeted us out of our land because we wouldn't sell them the land, and they conned us out of it with that con game. I see all of the con games. I know how they play, right? So, I don't know. We ain't watching. We seeing what we want to see instead of what's going on because we don't know that everything that these people is doing is designed with the specific intent of oppressing us, and they got people infiltrating every tribe to make sure that we infiltrate it so we can remain overthrown. Some of us do not wish to be subjugated by a foreign agency. I can take orders from Malachi York. I can take orders from Larry Hoover. I could take orders from Jeff Ford. I can take orders from El Chapo. I can't take no motherfucking orders coming from the White House. The White House is Casablanca. They made a whole movie about it, but we ain't know what they was talking about. Casablanca is a Moorish paradigm. If you look it up, the Casablanca, which means White House, is overseas somewhere. It ain't over here. But they had to put their embassy over here, and all embassies is marked by what they call an enclave. The enclave is to give a foreign jurisdiction within the confines of the enclave. Then they use postal zones in order to put everybody under the same jurisdictional position as the 10 square miles known as Washington District of Columbia that was originally called Rome. That's not a coincidence for them to tell us all roads lead to Rome, and then we end up at Casablanca in Rome, currently called Washington, D.C., renamed after George Washington, after they wrote that secondary constitution in the blood of Crispus Attucks to subjugate us and tell us that we from somewhere else like we ain't gonna know. Some of us have been born over here so many times that that lie don't work on us. And I'm one of them. So I got clear, vivid memories of past lives, and I don't remember these people being over here, and none of them, all of a sudden they over here, and I can see them moving on the land, and it's hard to distinguish them because they look like us, but they not us. And you got a whole lot of elders that's telling us, right? If you don't know what it takes to set up an embassy, you can Google it. You can say, all right, how do I set up my own private embassy? They're going to tell you. They got a book, how to start your own country. It's the same thing. Because if you got a country, you got to have diplomats. Because the diplomat's job is to go around and foment relations with foreign nations. The word nation has been usurped because it used to be tied to natal, which was the navel that was connected to the child is coming from the mother, but it's all been hijacked by the admiralty jurisdiction of the Uniform Commercial Code, and so they all wear uniforms to enforce the code commercially, meaning publicly, meaning openly, right? Meaning as a advertisement that puts you in an adversarial position by an adversary. All of this stuff is all a bunch of legalese, gobbledygook, to keep you confused about what they saying, because we didn't used to speak English. That's why Malachi wrote Nuwapic, right? He sat down with them sisters. They came up with an original language for the people of the land. Everybody not gonna do it because we lazy, and we always want somebody else to do the work for us, but we don't want to do our own work. I'm doing my own work. I don't want nobody to do mine because I don't want nobody effing up my stuff. And if I find one of my brothers incompetent, I'm gonna do their work too, because I know how to do it. Yeah. The paperwork war is called a paper trap, a paper chain. It's called that for a reason. I didn't make it up. It was already in existence before I started coming out here telling y'all what was going on. The paperwork is the paper trap that keeps you bound with a paper chain, and it's all contracts. And the first part of con is it's a lien. Con means to go against something. A tract means a piece of land. And Malachi said in the lecture that Abraham was talking a lot about a lot of land. Let that sink in. So people doing that stuff with deliberate and willful intent to usurp the liberation of the righteous from the oppressive nature of the wicked. It ain't gonna work, because I'm not gonna attack that sister, because she's been doing a good work this far. Why would I attack her now? Because she said my name that's been falsely implicated in some BS that I don't agree with. Right? So I'm gonna cut this here. I don't got nothing else to say. We know who they is. We know how they move. Stop letting them step on us and start stepping right on out their way and let them go and fling themselves off of a very high cliff with no rope. And they can take a long walk off a short pier and hope they can swim. I don't got nothing to do with that. Anybody want to put me on the flyer, make sure you contact me and ask me first, because I'm going to tell you I don't do fundraisers. I'm going to tell you that so fast your head going to swim.